Hi guys, this is Mark. Welcome back to my channel and thank you very much for watching. Whether you are live on Twitch or on demand on YouTube, thank you very much for coming along again for Next Top Singer Season 11, Episode 5, the watch along, the reaction, whatever you want to call it. And we're going rapid fire. So 2 episodes, 2 days if you're watching this live. And let's jump into it. So I mentioned in the last episode that there were 2 things that had happened. One of them we talked about then, which is basically the casting round being wrapped up. The second one we're going to talk about, but I'm going to let this run just for a few seconds so we can get the context.
Back to Next Top Singer. We are still in the casting round. Please watch episode 1 for an introduction. To make it in, you have to get a yes signal from at least 2 of the judges. 2 no signals means you are out. If you make it in, please read the description for instructions, and don't forget to confirm your role.
It was just 2 lovers, sitting in a car, listening in a bar, falling for each other. Pink in our skies, feeling super childish, no Donald Glover. A missed call from my mother, like where you were tonight, got no alibi. I was all alone with the love of my life. She's got glitter for skin, my radiant beam in the night. I don't need no lights to see you shine. It's your golden hour. You so done time in your golden hour.
I think we should probably explain.
Okay, so let's go for this one right off the bat. I'm surprised this one got through at all, really, since it's 2 voices and it's supposed to be your own voice and your own voice only. I think you can kind of get away with it to a point, but this is quite blatant. Not really sure what the context is. I'm guessing it's the female voice that we were talking about. I mean, it's tough because of where the level is. It's so low in the mix compared to the male vocal. It's kind of tough to pick up on what's going on with it. If I had more time, I'd be tempted to try and strip the parts out, use a bit of EQ, strip the parts out, and then I could listen to it in isolation. But from what I can tell with the muddiness and only listening to it one time, there is a bit of potential there. There is range, there is sustain. It feels quite clumsy. It feels like the sustain is being used not necessarily in the best way, not necessarily under control, and it feels like the notes are falling off. So I wouldn't be against this being a no because of a disqualification, because of the 2 voices, and I would also not be against it being a no from too many technical issues. But potentially there would be something to work with as long as the next one isn't a duet. And now we can get on to the other change, the other thing we could talk about.
Why Hooney's here. So first of all, welcome Hooney. You are a... Why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit?
I didn't prepare a script.
Okay, I can introduce you. So Hooney is the winner of season 8, and he was also in top 4 last season, season 10 All-Stars. So, and he's gonna be judging for the rest of the casting round. Unfortunately, Starly has decided to quit as a judge, so that's why. But we're super excited to have Hooney here. So let's get into it.
Okay, so little talking point. I said at the beginning of the last episode that I was indifferent to it. After the last episode, though, there was a big chunk of John not giving feedback between anyone that fell below 2 was just bad, and anyone that falls 8 or above is just good, which kind of got the alarm bells ringing a little bit for me. But I think there is... It's tough to figure out where to go with this, actually, because in one of the earlier episodes, I was thinking the power balance sits quite nicely with sort of Petri and Star being... I think I was making sure not to use the word immature, but there's a little bit of an age gap in there, and the humours are maybe on slightly different levels. So I feel like it was quite a nice balance with the four. Now the power balance does maybe shift a little bit towards John and Angelina, because it feels like they're on the same wavelength as far as sense of humour goes. But in the last episode, Angelina was calling John out left, right, and centre for his lack of feedback, for some of the comments that he was making, etc. So maybe those two will keep each other honest. I think the feedback the star was giving was generally on the good end. It was useful. It was constructive. She was definitely a good person to have on the panel. The only issue that I had, and this is, I'm sure, for completely legitimate reasons and the like, but some of the scores that she would give would then be prefaced with, but I was on pain meds at the time, which is a horrible situation to have to be in, I'm sure, and all the sympathy for that. But it's a little bit of an... There's a few sort of integrity things that are worrying me a bit. We've got one judge who is saying, that's my goat, to multiple people. And I feel like this isn't because he's got favourites as such, because it's happened so many times now. But in the wrong context, that could be taken as this is someone that's got favourites, which was a big problem. I think I got a grand total of 2 or 3 complaints about that across multiple seasons, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. That's a little worrying. If you've got a judge that is basically saying I gave you a good score because I was high at the time when I was listening to it, I'm sure for legitimate reasons, but again, that's a little worrying. Maybe kind of for the best that wasn't part of it. As to what they do going forward, that leaves them effectively a panel of 3, so maybe they'll just press on regardless with what they've got. Maybe someone else will come in, maybe guest judges will be involved. This 4 judges but 3 voting is not something I've ever been a huge fan of, so we'll see how that dynamic works. As for Hooney, though, good to see him involved in the panel as a guest judge. I'm guessing it's going to be for this episode and for the next. Hooney was a very well-deserved winner, someone I was hugely impressed with, a very, very talented vocalist. Also a very talented producer when it comes to his own work. He caught a few strays from me as a mentor when he mixed for some other contestants, and I felt like maybe he didn't balance that quite as well for them as maybe he did for some of his own. And I feel like he also caught some strays from me from being the guest judge on one of the episodes that I stepped out on. And I can't remember if someone got booted out that I didn't want to get booted out, or I had to use a star to save them or something like that. But I feel like he caught a bit of a stray from me from that one as well. But Hooney, great guy, great contestant, supremely talented. He was one of those that was kind of pigeonholed as the K-pop guy, but he showed a lot more versatility than a lot of the people that come in and become the K-pop guy or the K-pop girl, which was a big reason why he was able to get through to the final. From the top 3 that I remember, there was one guy that was kind of rock voicey that Petri was a huge fan of. I felt like he oversung quite a lot. There was another guy who, to be honest, was going to be my favourite for number 1, but his final performance was just lackluster, and that allowed Hooney to sweep in and grab it at the end. But yeah, thoroughly deserved and very talented. I think he got to 3rd or 4th place in the All-Star Season 10. I missed that, unfortunately. I watched the final, but I think I missed Hooney in that.
This one I was on the fence about as well.
I was not on the fence over this
I'm gonna give
Oh
her
no,
a
girl.
yes. I just feel
not on the
bad.
fence.
Okay, Aria, you sang Golden Hour, which is like, I think it was really popular at one point. I think your harmony is really unnecessary and it makes the whole product sound messy. You don't correctly support the higher notes and it sounds really squeaky. And your low part sounds kind of emotionless and it doesn't add to the performance. Your pitch is inconsistent at some parts, but I see a potential in your voice, and I think that there's good energy in like your higher like harmony, so or like the melody, I guess. So I gave you a 4.5, and I'm letting you through.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I
it's
go
pretty much.
next? John, okay.
Yeah, no, I was pretty much saying the same thing. Your harmonies were very unnecessary, especially for the first part where you don't need harmonies for that. You never knew. But especially with the chorus part, when you were going up to the shy, like, bro, why did you go flat and then go down? I don't understand that. It just never really sounded good. You had the range for it. I could hear it. So I don't know what was going on. But, hey, man, next time. You can go through, but I think you need to really improve on this.
Okay, I'm fine with letting you through, but let me just start with the positives. So some places actually had the potential to sound really good, and I appreciate the effort for doing harmonies and or octaves and doubles. But sadly, those are off sync, which distracted from the whole performance too much. And you had potential beautiful vocal tone, okay, pitch control, and there's potential for this entry to be quite dynamic, but it was not. And readiness when reaching the higher notes. It's like air leaking out of your vocal unintentionally. And at 041, the switch to an unsupported breath of note. The reason why I said that it's because it was a note at first, and then it became breath of air, which caught me off guard. So learn proper breathing support and vocal placement, and learn how to grab those notes so they land to where they should be. So that's why I gave you a 3 and a no.
Dang, Hooney's given a whole like voice lesson.
I was saying, that man gave you a whole free course, bro. Take notes.
That was her vocal? That low harmony was her vocal? Really? I mean, I didn't pick up on it because that just felt so unnaturally off from the high, but I guess that's the reason that it didn't become a disqualification. They thought that was the case. Surely not. I mean, fair. If she does have that kind of range, then absolutely fair. And it just needs a whole lot of polishing. Some useful feedback from John there, and then Hooney came in and, like they said, a whole vocal lesson. But that's the kind of technical input that is super useful. So I like that a lot.
600 men, 600 deaths under my command. 'Cause I had one goal in mind, no fleet, no bounds. Only this raft that I made by hand. Or will I reach my homeland? All you have to do is not open this bag. You'll be given a final option. Consider this your one last chance to make it back home. And a ban of caution, wash it away like the blood your hands have known. I know if you dance with fate. I know your hands in state. If your plans are great and wide you wait to see it. Well, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. You need a mindset change for this. You cannot get away with playing to save for this. You're gonna get trumpeted all online. Be dangerous.
I'm glad we all came to this decision.
Okay, so that one is going to be a no from me, and then let's go for a 1.5, I guess. Looking for some kind of redeeming qualities. There isn't a whole lot in there. Maybe a hint of sustain here and there. This is another one of those examples that I mentioned in the last feedback about giving yourself some space. If you are so choppy, if you're talk singy, you haven't really got the opportunity to show dynamic or sustain or vibrato or anything like that. Really limits you, and you can't really get much of a performance out of it as well. I mean, you can, if you want to perform a full sort of musical theatre kind of thing, but you're not on stage, you're in a singing competition, so that just doesn't quite work. Not much I can really say here. As far as useful things, one, pick a song that allows you a lot more space so that you do have the opportunity to show a bit of sustain, and then start focusing on breath support. I think everything there is unsupported. Once you get to the bottom of that, you can start to tweak a few more technical things and work on pitch and the like, but that would be my first place to start. Lots of work to do though, unfortunately.
As a group, I'm
Yeah.
glad we came to this decision.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to sound like
My first
rude.
one.
I didn't see that
you
coming.
I don't want to
sound
sound
rude. Oh.
rude.
I thought you were gonna be a nice
Actually-
judge.
I'm nice, but I have to be objective.
Yeah,
And this
that's
was
fair.
not. This was objectively not good.
I'm glad you said that.
ecstatic,
I was going to say way
like that.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Okay, I really don't want to be rude, but like, do you have like braces or something? Like, it sounds like you like. Okay, I had Invisalign a while back, right? And every time I sing, I sound a little bit like a nerd. And because like the diction wasn't the diction like it sounded like you had something restricting your mouth. That's why I'm like asking. I'm like, it sounded like you were singing and you were barely opening your mouth, and it was like, I don't know. It just reminded me of when I had Invisalign. So I was like, maybe they have something in their mouth. Whoa. Wait. Okay, sorry, nothing.
Nah,
Your pitch was just inconsistent and your emotion was lacking. I couldn't see where you were trying to go with
Yeah.
the song. Because the song is very like, it's very upbeat. It's like, hey, catchy, and then I'll leave it at that.
Because, yeah, I was going to say because Dangerous is one of my favorite songs in all of Epic. So when I heard this performance, I was like, please be good. And unfortunately, you did not deliver because my brother in Christ, what were we cooking up in the kitchen? This was Firstly, your tempo was absolutely awful because you're trying to skip through the song for no reason when you could have just sang it normally and you would have been fine. And I'll get to that even more a little bit later, but you were also really breathy for whatever reason, especially when you were singing the faster bits of the song. You were like taking huffs like, and then it was kind of just distracting in that sense. Your pitch was okay. Not great, but I could see that you were at least consistent. But, you know, there was some points where you just kind of dipped up, dipped down. It was not looking good. Then the list that Angelina was talking about was very noticeable for me, but I'm not going to try and defame you for that too much. In my humble opinion, you should have just sang the chorus because you're clearly trying to speed run the song. And the chorus is so fast that you could have actually maybe worked with it. Like, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. You don't need to be trying to breathe through the first time. You're going to give me a final option. Consider this your one. Like, you don't need to breathe through that and you don't need to rush through that. If you sang the chorus, maybe I would have given you a higher score. Probably the only reason you even got a 3 from me is because I felt sorry. My guy, go back, take a breath, and understand that this was just not it. Please understand that you just need to stop. Cool. Your turn.
John's back. Okay, very redeeming feedback from what we saw in the last episode. That is super useful stuff, super incisive, so much more like it.
Okay,
Moody's just laughing over there.
time to be mean. Unfortunately,
Please do so.
I unfortunately do not have anything positives to say about this one. Maybe good volume, and that's me being nice. But the audio quality was so muddled it caused many problems. But I have 2 problems which I can attest that it's not from the audio quality. And it is, I couldn't pick up any understandable words. Most of them are slurred, and so many breaths in between lines that shouldn't have happened if you had proper support. And this messed up the tempo and the momentum of the song, which was needed for this song. And I'm not even completely sure if this was in tune or on pitch. So
No, it was barely on Twitch.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. So learn proper breathing support and vocal in general. Hit the vocal gym and play around with EQ if you can afford a better mic in the future. So from what I can hear, you need to cut down on the mids, which make this entry sound muddy in the first place and boost the highs.
I love the way like at the end when you said muddy, it reminded me of like Hermione Granger, like muddy. It was muddy.
It was so muddy.
It's not Leviosa.
Okay, so Hooney's a very good addition. I'm pretty sure he's classically trained, and it's clear from the feedback that he's giving that is the case. But it feels like it's coming across in a way that is attainable and achievable. You can very easily go and throw a load of words and terminology at someone that, I mean, to be honest, I'm not classically trained. If you use certain phrases with me, I probably wouldn't be able to, if you ran a load of singing related phrases at me, some of them might not hit, or at least I might not know how to apply that in a practical sense. It feels like Hooney's pitching it at the right level. Little mentions about EQ as well, so clearly he's got his production hat on and thinking about how that would maybe help. But very impressive stuff. Also, Angelina's point about, have they got braces on? I mentioned that with the 14-year-old from the last episode, because we could see from the video. It does definitely make a difference when it comes to making that mouth shape and being able to enunciate your words and get the diction right. So, could well be right with that one.
Hello, everyone. It's Orby. I'm back again. I'm 23. I'm from Texas, United States, and I'm back for season 11 of YouTube's Next Top Singer. I competed in season 10 and lost in round 2, but I am here again. Call her up in the middle of the morning, 5 o'clock on the dot without a warning, pouring my heart out into the phone. Help us wake barely asleep, hours been listening to her dreams. Hearing that voice makes me feel at home. Well, it's a blessing just to know her name. Sparkle in her eyes put the stars to shame. Wonder if she'll ever think twice on a wretch like me. That'd be nice. Smile brighter than a markets of diamonds. Dreams bigger than a Texas rising. Lord knows a poor man like me would do anything, 'cause your love is what I'm pining. Good eyes, polished and shining. Gem like you's hard finding, so keep on digging. Arkansas diamond.
The main thing that was
Okay, this is going to be a yes from me and a 3.5. I think it's probably going to be a bounce out in the second round again for Orby, but I'm seeing enough potential to say yes. Aside from the like me part, I think he was pretty on point with the timing, and it's quite a difficult one timing wise, especially when you're a cappella. Maybe he had a backing track behind him, but he was in pretty much the right place all the way along, which I feel like would have tripped a few people up. There are times when he's got a very nice tone along with the accent as well. It feels genuinely country. But there are some issues with nasality. There are some issues with diction. It feels like they're being mumbled. The two tend to go together. If you are getting caught up in this kind of area and you're not getting the mouth shape there, it's very difficult to produce the sound that you want. And I think also with the recording quality, that just helps as well. The word that Hooney used, muddy, there were times when that one was definitely muddy. Like I say, enough potential to pass through on a casting round, but a lot of things need tightening up to be able to go much further than that.
was just taking off points for me was just the audio quality. I could hear some good bits and bobs, but like I won't even really fight for this. I won't even lie. It's not great, but it's not bad in any sense of the word. But it's not anything extraordinary.
The reason why
I mean, wait. Can I give my? Because you're on the fence. It's like
go ahead.
The two, like the angel and the devil. I'm just kidding.
The angel and the devil. Oh my god! And your name's Angelina. Oh my god.
No. This time it's flipped because I'm the one saying no. I'm the one saying no. So you're the angel.
So are you Demolina?
No, someone called me that. They called me Demonina.
See,
it was a joke.
I know.
The reason why I gave them a no, I mean, I shouldn't get jump scared listening. They went, oh! And then they like started singing, and then it was like better for the rest of it. They weren't like screaming, but I mean like they were really close to their mic, and it really scared me and it like made me jump. The audio makes it really hard to distinguish your voice. The diction is a little hard to like tell. It's kind of talky the way you're singing. The pitch sounds good and the emotion's good though, so that's why I gave a 5.5. I was on the fence as well, but I just went with no.
I think if I
it's pretty much the same.
I think if I were to like look at my feedback, I think I'm gonna lean to no. But let me give my feedback. Okay, so the positives. So you have potential good vocals and some potential, even if held back by the audio quality. And it had good volume, and it sounds like cursive singing, which is not a bad thing, but it becomes bad if it becomes your brand. for the competition. So I appreciate the attempt of runs, and it showed some potential. But sadly, there were some unintentional pitch issues, static noise present, and dips in volume occurred throughout the entry. If this wasn't intentional cursive singing, do enunciate more because some words don't really come out. So yeah,
True.
I think I'm gonna lean with the no.
The country accent made it worse too.
Yeah, I didn't know. If
I
that
don't
was,
know.
'cause
I
think
don't know
one was
accents.
forced.
I don't know
One
accents, so I
audition
just
had
said it
one.
cursive singing.
Yeah, it's a Southern American accent, so
Yeah, it definitely
Ah.
is. Personally, I hate cursive singing. Oh my god, it
cursive
makes
singing
me
sounds
so
weird.
annoyed. I hate when people do that so much.
It feels
It's 'cause
like
they
you're
try to
trying to do
imitate-
something.
They try to imitate the style of like pop singers, but like not even pop singers who are known for that sound still have good diction. It's just more
Yep.
like
Yeah, that's
Twilight.
true actually. Yeah.
You're trying to sing like you're famous and you don't have the skills for it, bro.
Yeah. If you
It's
if you
not the
really
first
want
time
to
you
be good at
said that.
cursive singing,
Hey,
yeah,
they gotta
come on,
get a
John.
playback.
Get some new lines,
Yeah.
bro. Using the same
Nick,
stuff.
what do you mean? I've been providing new lines. I'm the heart of this show. Come on now.
if you really want to like stick to
actually
that
are.
cursive singing, listen to like Tat McRae and see that cursive singing could be good if done well. That's the thing.
Okay.
Interesting point. Interesting point on Tate McRae as well. I have to kind of agree. She has a very unique voice, and I think, to be honest, it's more of it's a distinctive voice, but not necessarily a super strong voice combined with good songwriting. So it can work, but
6 schools in 6 years, been kicked out of every place. Everything I ever do is wrong, never find where I belong. Everybody's on my case. The same old story, the same old song. Don't act up, don't act out, be strong. I keep my head down, I keep my chin up, but it all ends up the same. With pack your bags, but you see you're always to blame. I never try to do anything, I never mean to hurt anyone. I swear that I'm a good kid, a good son. But no one ever will take my side. All I ever do is take the fall. I swear that I'm a good kid, 'cause I'm good for nothing at all.
The next one I featured.
okay. That's another one of those where there is so much going on. It's going to be yes for me and a 3.5. Oh. It's going to be a yes and a 4. I feel like I need to bump that from the previous entry as there's a little more potential in it, but I feel like another one that's potentially going to bounce out within the second round without some tightening it up. So she's got a sort of nasality to her voice, which I think is a little stylistic. I think that's quite common for musical theatre. A lot of people have a quite nasal voice that works pretty well for musical theatre, but not necessarily to other applications. I was quite impressed by some of the higher notes in there, and there was elements of sustain, probably only in sort of 4 or 5 points, which is why the score was on the low end. A couple of times as well, one in particular where at the end of the run it falls very flat, and then I think there was an attempt to correct it and it stays flat. So some work to be done there. I think it's a combination of breath support and just being a little more in control. Also, if it is mainly coming from here, mainly coming from head voice, then that will give you those issues. Sometimes you can't sort of drive into the note as much as you would like to. It's a yes. It's better overall, I think, than the last one, but still some limitations. Let's see what the judges think.
Featured because I
Oh.
actually know the song very well, and
So
I wanna
how are you
give
gonna
my
tear it down?
no, I actually gave a yes. I
Oh,
didn't
let's
give them
go.
my score. I
Yeah.
want to give them my feedback. That's why I featured it.
Mm-hmm.
So Lily, I was in a production of Percy Jackson the musical from my last year of high school. Sad. So I know this song very well. I know the background behind it. And I'm assuming that since you chose a song, you know it well too. My feedback for you is that your diction is like chewed. It sounds like you're trying to sing cursive, which is funny because we just talked about cursive like, style. It's too breathy in the beginning, but your emotion is good. I just wish it was more like theatrical since it's from a musical. Your riffs are a little sloppy, and some of your melody is wrong. I don't know if that's intentional. I wish there was more powerful belting. You do kind of belt, and I do think like you do get that. But this song is supposed to be really emotional. Like he literally gets kicked out of like what, 6 schools in 6 years. Like he's really upset. He's trying hard to be a good kid, aka the song title. You know, I think that if you were gonna choose this song, you gotta go for it. You gotta really bring the emotion. I would choose a song that's higher in range in the beginning. It's a bit too low to show off your resonance in the front. But I do think you have a nice voice. So I give you a 5 and a yes.
It's pretty much the same thing for me. Good dynamics, good pitch. The end part was a little bit iffy though, I'll be so for real. I like your singing style though, I'll be honest. I think it's interesting, but that's my personal taste, so can go either which way. But I gave you a 7 and a yes, so keep going.
So for me personally, you had good dynamics and mostly good vocal control, vibrato, and pitch. And I appreciate the implemented voice cracks in places, especially at 038, where it's most prominent. And this was, just like Angelina said, another one that felt like cursive singing, but at least it was stylistic from what I can hear, and the audio quality is on the better side of the spectrum. What I have to say is the ending felt a little bit rough with the transition, but appreciate it because I can see what you were trying to do. And since this is a musical, probably wasn't a good choice with the stylistic cursive singing. Appreciate it regardless. So with a little bit more polishing of your entries, could you do you some good throughout your competition? So get in contact with the mentors to see what you can do better.
Gray weather just for me, just tell me I'm right. Despite the careless words you say, I'm always keeping faith. Chart the numbers, see a trend. We are moving in place. Despite your lack of blowing over, I'm always keeping faith. And you'd say, this is not the time for goodbye. It's too late, you'd say. This is not the time for goodbyes. It's too late, it's too late. In the bright light of morning, map the last leg of the trip. I call on you to catch me as I'm coming over the bridge, through the mind fog of the beach.
Damn.
Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy.
Okay, this one is going to be a no from me, and that's going to be a 1.5. Okay, so it's interesting when you see the video sometimes of someone actually singing, you can figure out a few things that are going on. So first of all head voice. So there is no real push. You can see there's a lot of air they're trying to bring in through their nose, and it's just not working. It's not supported as well as we'd like on a number of the occasions. The main thing, though, is you can see that he just never gets his mouth open wide enough. So the enunciation isn't there, causes diction issues, and you are stifling the notes by not getting the mouth shape. So three things really. One, get a lot more air in and move a lot more air. 2, open your mouth wider so you got room for that air to go somewhere. And 3, choose something that isn't all head voice. Allow yourself to get into the lower register a bit more, which might force you out of your head a little bit more, if nothing else. Maybe try and get some air pushing from your diaphragm and the like. If that is your range and that's where you're comfortable, then fair. But it needs a lot of work. Even when you've got falsetto singers, they've got a lot of air behind their notes still. They have to. There's still power in it. It's just used in a very different way. So lots of work to be done. But it's interesting to see it. It's interesting to see the actual performance. You can glean a bit more from that.
Guy. Actually, hold up. I'm gonna do this a little lower. I think that's an appropriate score. Beautiful.
I'm not gonna argue. I don't think.
You know what?
What?
You're fine.
What? This one's featured.
Yeah.
You know what? You're fine. You're fine.
Wait, why did both ears Adam? Nah, that's actually so funny.
Yeah.
I featured this one because it was one of my lowest scores.
I don't know who cooked with this.
I mean, we agree, so...
Yeah, me and Hooney are on the same wavelength right now.
Yeah.
I just said...
Stop blurring. Stop blurring. Okay.
I just said, like, the voice is really shaky, and it sounds like your voice is cracking. It's pitchy, there's no projecting, and I don't hear any emotion. So I give you 1.5 and a no.
Literally the same thing. Your voice is weak, pitchy as hell. Bro, you sound like you're choking on water while you're singing this entire song. I don't know what you were drinking before, but stop it. Hella breathy. Your control was not good. You were also really quiet into the mic, and it did not add anything to it. You even tried to put emotion into that. The only reason I gave you a 3 is because I liked your chain and your glasses. So you take that as you will.
That's crazy!
Okay.
Hey, John, that's not fair.
That's fair. He'll still get it out. It's not like he's getting nothing more.
Okay. Yet another one that was predominantly sung in head voice. 3 in a row, may I add, for the record, even if we're not showing most of them. And unfortunately, this was the worst out of the 3. The breathiness combined with throatiness indicates lack of support, and many parts were on the verge of cracking. So, hit the vocal chip.
See, John's gone from a full 360 turnaround. Yes, he's completely buried someone, but there was some constructive feedback out of it. Useful. Like that.
There are many ways of persuasion. There are many modes of control. Maybe showing one act of kindness leaves the kinder souls down the road. I remember actions of passion. I have been in love once before. Maybe one day the world won't need a puppeteer no more. Or maybe one day the world won't need a puppeteer more.
There isn't John.
Okay. How... Oh... Tough. Do I pull one of those if I was actually judging power moves? Yeah, let's do it. No and a 2. No, come on. Let's be consistent. Right. Gotta be consistent. Let's put it down to having a bad day at tennis and the like. I'll give that a yes and a 4, and I'll let it slide because there is some potential in it. The first 20, 30 seconds, for example, there was definitely something there. There was some sustain that was there that was useful. It was a little... Feels a little out of control, a little waily at points, but there was definitely something there. It's that last run. If you're going to go for something big like that that's going to take up such a big part of the song or the entry, it needs to be on point. It's like the sustain is impressive to be able to get that and transition through the whole run, but the whole run was pretty much off pitch. And when that's your it's your pièce de résistance when you're putting an entry in at any point. If you're going for a song that's got a big part in it, you need to nail that big part, otherwise it takes the edge off of the whole thing. Potential, yes, but that run was worrying. It just shows the breath support isn't there to be able to pull something like that off. At least to be able to execute it well. You know, she's got enough air to keep the run going, but it's just not used in the right way to be able to execute.
There's no way you gave her an 8. There's
I'm gonna
no way you gave her an 8.
I'm keeping.
There is no way you gave her an 8
I'm keeping
out
it.
of
No way.
10.
Please no.
This is another white
cooked.
score.
Damn, I think she cooked. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I do not think she cooked. She did not cook that hard, bro.
How did she cook?
She turned on the stove and then she turned it off. That's what happened.
Damn.
She said, huh.
It's
Never mind.
Nah, bro. It's mostly just because of the audio quality. I have a feeling. I think I was just looking past.
Nope.
it.
Yeah. It
It was not the audio quality. It was not the audio quality.
So
But
what?
the audio quality actually played a big part in it. Actually,
It did.
That's fair.
I didn't even
Yeah.
write that
That's
in
fair,
my
though.
notes, though. I didn't even write that in my notes.
Me neither. Oh, wait, no, I did actually. I put four
you know
audio,
what?
but I said.
You know what? There we go.
All right,
Yeah,
that's fair.
Hootie.
That's fair.
I guess we can feature this one because like John's passionate and I'm passionate.
Hey man, look, I really feel like she did decent. I'm not even gonna lie, cause just
I just don't think there was okay. You know when someone sings with like dynamics, but they don't sing with emotion, like they're
Yeah, that's
singing
fair. Okay,
out,
that's fair.
but there's no emotion in there. That's this person. Like
Yeah.
they're. It
That's
sounds
fair.
like they're belting just to belt and not to convey a meaning, like not to convey the song. Because the song is like
that is real.
the song is supposed to be seductive. You know, she's saying like there are other ways of
The
persuasion.
ways
and
of
this girl's just going.
persuasion.
This girl's kind of just like screaming in his face. Like this kind of like what the vibe is. The pitch is okay, but the diction's unclear at some parts and on the edge of straining. I did not think she ate.
I actually agree.
I'll still defend my point. I'll be for real. Like
Go ahead.
I do agree with the whole like she was just kind of belting for belting's sake. That is real. I did hear that. But like even in that case, I do think that she's got the voice for the song. She sang it really well. And if she did actually belt for passion and for emotion that she was trying to give, I'd probably still give her an 8. But you know, I'm still gonna keep my vote as it is. I think she did really well.
All right. So I don't really have anything to add. I'm just gonna add based on audio quality. Basically, this was completely overshadowed by the audio quality, and it's one of the worst in the spectrum. And it felt like it was recorded with a webcam mic or something similar. And some parts that I could hear in the middle of the entry were a bit shaky. And there were possible straining at the end. And since I don't think playing around with EQ could save this, I would highly recommend investing in a better microphone in general.
What did I miss? Just out of interest, what did I miss? Because surely that last run.
There isn't a job.
I mean, surely that's sharp, flat, sharp. It only really connects sort of right at the end for me. I'm surprised it didn't get picked up on. But I went yes, they went yes, so we move.
I highly recommend investing in a better microphone in general.
Until you protest your disinterest, I know clandestinely you're gonna grin and bear it, and you for popularity. La 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 la. You'll be popular, just not quite as popular as me.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, okay. That was a nice surprise. Very difficult to take on Ariana Grande in anything, but now where do I feel about rating? How do I feel about rating? It's one of those things I'd want to listen to a couple of times just to get my thoughts together on it. And there are a few parts that didn't seem all that polished, but let me try and figure out why. I know we're trying to motor through this and go for a one-time reaction, but just for this one.
You're gonna grin and bear it, and you for popularity. La 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 la. You'll be popular, just not quite as popular as me.
5, 6.
Okay, yeah, I'm being picky. I'm being picky. So let's go for a. Am I gonna go even higher? I don't think I've ever given more than a 7 in a casting round. 7.5. I think that might be my highest score I've ever given in a casting round. So let's go in for it. Couple of things that I picked up on. I think in one of the belting parts, it starts flat and then gets back on point. And in the little breakdown, it was maybe a little rushed. But it was more of a talking part than a singing part, so I feel like I can let that one slide. Yeah, very impressive, very tough artist to try and pull off. But there is power, there is sustain, there is range, there is a nice belt in there, there's the performance aspect as well. Maybe the room that it was in was maybe a little too echoey, a little too much room reverb going on with it, but again, you can't do too much about that. And if you choose a room for dramatic effect, then so be it. I like that a lot.
7, 8.
7, 8. It was a theater kid. And a theater kid who was doing the work. Go off, Queen. Next one.
Okay, Bliss. My feedback for you is that you have a little bit too much reverb. It's the space that you're recording in. It's like kind of adding that reverb even though it's natural. I'm not really a big fan of that. Your breath doesn't sound completely supported throughout, and especially your transition to the third la, it's not supported well. It sounds a little bit strained. Your diction is a little hard to understand on the you're gonna grin and bear it, and it's pitchy on the high notes and on the words just not quite, and you scoop for the first high la. But other than that, I liked your video was nice. You looked really engaged in your performance. Your voice sounds good. Other than like the spots I pointed out, I think your pitch was really good. So I gave you a 6 and a yes.
The cut that always bleeds. But even now you're killing me. Oh, I need you like the air I breathe, and I need you more than me, and I need you more than anything. Please.
She kind of reminded me of Miranda Sings. You know the girl who goes like, oh.
All right, that's going to be a no from me. That's going to be 1.5. Pretty much all of that was flatter than Roadkill.
Oh! Wait!
Yikes.
I know that one.
I know that one a little bit too well.
Hey guys, my name is... Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Trauma, bro. Trauma.
I think you need to cut that out.
Do you not agree with me though?
No, I agree, but like we can't show that on public television. But I agree wholeheartedly.
We will avoid dramas.
Yeah.
Wait,
like,
but I thought this was featured.
It is featured.
Yeah, it's featured. We'll just cut
Wait,
that
you're not-
bit specifically.
No,
We're just
no,
cutting that bit
don't be
specifically.
saying that.
I won't.
I'm gonna get cooked.
Oh my god!
Can I say my actual feedback though? I gave you a 2 because you just have really shaky and unclear pitch. Your emotion was okay, that's why I gave you a 2. Your phrasing is really strange. Like the way you like move your notes on the weird like descending ones, like I don't really see the vision. And your breath support's not very good, and you're also nasally.
Those beginning rungs you did, I don't know who told you to do that. Never do that again. Please. You're gonna save us all the trouble of wasting our time with that. Your control was awful. Off key after listening to the original thing, because I had to make sure I wasn't tripping balls when I saw this performance. Zero emotion. Pitch was, wow. That, we're not gonna talk about that. You had no dynamics to speak of, and your performance overall was just... Tell me why I would put this on instead of ASMR to fall asleep to. Come on now, man.
You fall asleep to that? I would have a nightmare. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, fall
Okay,
asleep in the
so-
sense I got bored out of my goddamn mind.
Okay, so me next. Okay, unfortunately, there was no positives that I could really pick out of this entry. I appreciate the descending notes, even if it was done very poorly. And not only was this entry short, it was only 35 seconds long. And based from what I can hear, I couldn't pick up any notes because they were flying around. So the voice definitely feels very green and inexperienced, and I couldn't even recognize the song from the way it was delivered. I had to refer to original to get a sense of what you were trying to do, and you were not trying to do what the song is supposed to be doing. One and a no.
No wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring me down. Bring me down.
Next one.
I am curious as to why some of these are being featured, to be honest. Especially this episode. I'm guessing the plan is that if there are any that the judges particularly want to talk about, those are the ones that are appearing in the episode. And surely we can do better than this. That's a no from me, another 1.5. Another where the pitch is just not where it needs to be whatsoever. And that sounds like not emotional damage, but vocal damage. Trying to go for those high notes that just aren't in range whatsoever. There is definitely some issues with technique, and trying to overstretch like that, not good. Not good at all.
Oh, 111. Feature this one. When we reach it. When we reach it, we need to feature this one.
Should really?
Yeah, I featured that one already, so.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
I don't have that featured,
Oh.
but I understand why we would feature that.
Yes, bro. I'm so excited to absolutely
Okay.
Imagine John's like, I give it a 10. I give it a 10. He's like,
I give it
feature,
a
this is so
10.
good.
Let's
I
be
give
so
it a
for real.
10 minus
Let's
1.
be so for real. Let's be so for real.
Wait, why did
Oh
I
my
give
god!
them? Oh wait, the reason why I gave
0.5.
them,
You should actually
it's just
drop
'cause
the.
they had somewhat like energy. Can I go with mine? 'Cause
Yeah.
I
Yeah, go
featured-
first.
Okay. I was like,
The long
with
sigh.
songs like these, with these types of songs that are very iconic, usually people expect a lot. Your audition was really pitchy. Your voice was shaky. Your breath was unsupported. Your emotion was okay. Like your energy is kind of there. So I gave you a 1.5. Your diction is lacking. You only sang for 20 seconds, and you were multiple keys above the original, which is probably why you were like straining.
Okay,
It's
thank
just
God.
like-
My turn. Oh, Vanessa. Let me talk to you real quick because I truly need to ask you a real question. Who told you to do this?
Not the
Were you being
tap
held
talk.
hostage? Nah, were you being held hostage? It's okay, just blink twice next time because what was this? Genuinely, because you were trying entirely too much. You're not giving me anything and you're putting in all the effort for it. So your voice can't supplement this, let's be so for real. You were going so high to the point where you were just out here screeching, right? You don't have a range for that, which is fine. Just pick a song next time that's in your range because this was just not it. Pitchy as all hell. I don't know where you were going half the time. You had emotion. I'll give you that. You brought something. I still won't give you a 0.5 like Angelina, bless her heart. Background was also audibly distracting, and this is probably the first time I ever had to straight up talk about the background, because why does it look? I know you're probably in your house, and I understand that, but any amount of noise suppression would have been better than what you gave us. It just was awful to listen to. And then you were straining the entire time, and at the final part, when you were trying to do, that iconic bit that everybody and their mother tries to do when they're in theater, why do you sound like Tarzan on helium? Explain to me how that works. Bro, I was swinging through the vines and shit. Like, come on. Look, next time, pick a song that you can actually do. You're trying entirely too much and doing entirely too much. Don't try this again, alright? Stick to pop. Stick to pop. You'll be fine.
Yet another one that was cut short, and it was the worst. Like Angelina said, a whopping 22 seconds, and it was rushed. The timing was getting faster and faster. And I believe this was phone mic recording quality, probably old generation of Android. I know that stuff because it was muddled and pretty noisy as well. And vocal strain occurred at the war cry part, and unintentional key changes and shifts indicates experience. I don't really have anything else to say that is nice. So, this actually quite general. So don't rush. You have a minute. And for the next run, don't rush. You have 2 minutes.
But she won't be in the next round.
Yeah, for the other people that are in her place. Sadly.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.
Okay, so that's another one in the books, Season 11, Episode 5. Little change around of the judging panel. I think it was a different recording session by the looks of things, changes of shirts and that sort of thing. Hooney, excellent addition as a guest judge, and if they are looking to press on with 4 judges going forward, I think he would be a great choice to fill that role. Has the production knowledge, which he's brought up a few times, but the main thing, he clearly has some training, has a lot of knowledge that he can bring forward. His feedback is very detailed, provides lots of useful information, and it's worded in a way when someone who maybe isn't trained in the same way could still be able to understand it and take some things from it. John, most improved player from his performance in the last episode. Yes, he took the opportunity to absolutely slam some people down, but when he did so, it was with 3 or 4 useful bullet points that someone could take away and again use in a constructive way. So my worries from the last episode about how useful he could be on the panel have been well and truly pushed away. We'll see what happens with it. I'm guessing Hooney is going to be involved in episode 6, if there is an episode 6. If not, then we'll be back for round 2. Deadline for that will be 15th of June, so there'll be a recording session at some point after that. The episode will be sort of end of June, I'm guessing. So we shall see. So we may be back with episode 6. We may be back in a couple of weeks. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I do have some other ideas in the pipeline that I want to record rather than just reacting to this. But just finding the time. Finding the time is difficult. And getting something up within the time frame of an episode, that is... it gives me an incentive to actually jump in and do something when maybe I'd find an excuse to do something else. So we shall see. But thank you very much for watching, guys. If you are on Twitch or on YouTube, feel free to throw me a follow or a subscribe, respectively. And it'd be nice to get some feedback as well, how you guys are finding the series so far. Drop it in the comments and let's see if we can get a bit of discussion going. Thank you very much, and I will catch you.